What's up, MLP? What's up, Ashley? James. What's up, my brother? Yeah, back to you too. Ashley? James. What's up, my brother? My volume is probably very low.
Hey Ashley, hey James, hey Lisa.
Lisa, hey.
How's everybody's day going? What's happening to you?
Landonia.
Hey Zach.
Let me just make sure. Landon. Zach. Anthony.
Lewis County, Tennessee, tornado and debris.
Anastasia, what's up? What's up? All right, everybody. Welcome back to Unspecified Podcast. I should have been listening to me audio.
Oh, I was not either.
Can you hand me those? So, Tuesday. What is it, June the 30th?
June the 30th. Very last day in June.
That's right. Anything weird or crazy going on that anyone knows of?
Well, it's 2020, so we've got that going.
That is so true.
I want to see some chats. Oh, now I have to read through the picture.
Anastasia says hi, Tiff.
What's up, Anastasia?
Nikki, what's up?
Heat wave here. Yeah, I hear that. Oh, but I can't read who said it.
Said what?
Somebody said heat
No,
wave.
don't worry about it. I'm going to pull up chat.
Police chief retiring today? Oh no.
Crap.
We are trying to partner together with our local favorite FFL, Pelican State Armory, to throw together some sort of an appreciation for our local police department.
Well, our local police and sheriff.
Looking at kind of a barbecue thing. It's still in the very early works, but I'm very excited about it. If y'all feel so inclined, we're not sponsored. They're just like really good people and really great. Like when you go in, man, the deals are phenomenon. But
They're really good dudes.
Yeah, Pelican State Armory is our local FFL. We love them. Really good guys. Peter and his brother-in-law there, and we're just happy to know them, quite frankly. But if y'all want to go show them some love, we'd sure appreciate it.
All right. I think we can actually do some dialogue because I've got everything handled.
Well, that's fabulous.
I'm baking a cake.
Oh, delicious. I'm about to make supper. I can't wait.
This is the new Facebook, by the way.
Yeah.
Facebook has done a completely new redesign.
What? Oh my gosh.
Right before I went live.
Facetious.
No, right before I went live, it changed everything on me, so now I'm a little...
Gross. I can't recognize it. I got rid of my Facebook, so I'm like, haha, beat you guys. Raining here again. Skippy is working his ass off. I believe it. Oop, I gotta go take a go. It's a great day here at Little Bluffs. This is Tiffany.
This looks like Chaz.
I'm sorry. Yes, Spectrum is who they introduced. If it doesn't work, I'll call my in-laws and have them come down there. They're the ones that are and have them come down there.
Having issues playing this. Bear with me, everyone. I may need to start using another browser. Let me see if I can. Yep. Okay. Well, bear with me, folks.
At the end of the day, they don't want to hurt nobody.
Hold on,
They
audio
want
just
their
started piping
business
through.
They want their home back. So a lot of them don't agree with it. A lot of them feel like it was an unjust move for the mayor to make that decision for them. And I agree with them. She shouldn't have made that call. So,
Do you guys feel that, I mean, you have firearms with deadly force, is that something that you guys are personally prepared
You're gonna
to
want to put
use?
in a monitor so you
I
can
mean,
hear.
if you feel that your life's in danger and you're protecting yourself or someone around you, yes.
All right, Skip, what's up, brother?
If not, if you can talk it out, great. If you have less lethals, that we do. We have batons, we have OC spray, we have tasers. At the end of the day, we rather talk than fight.
Right.
So these are just tools. And if you don't need them, don't use them.
You said you had training more so than your average person. Now, is that part of the training that
Zach.
you received was how to de-escalate?
That is both hilarious and
De-escalate,
inappropriate.
That was the most important thing because you got to have the verbal judo.
I would
If you
expect
don't,
nothing less.
If I'm not working,
Cheers,
and
everybody.
You're fixated on me, you don't like
Department
me,
of
then I'll
Dad.
Tag you and go ahead and talk to him.
Oh yeah,
That's how
it's
you do it.
serious.
You're gonna have to find somebody
I
to
wouldn't
talk
say
them
it's
down.
all
how to
rioting
fight
though,
people
Dee.
with somebody.
It's, a lot of it
At
is just
the end of the day, do
protesting,
you wanna
but
hurt this
there
person?
have been shootings.
You wanna be
Yesterday there was
cool,
what,
make sure
two
everyone goes home.
high-speed car chases.
That's it. So that's what it's all about.
You feel
Bro
the police
fist,
have enough
everybody.
training in
You know I
de-escalation?
love you. Thank you so much for being
I
here,
think
guys.
They have enough training.
If you guys want to help support the channel, please don't forget to
They have enough
share. If
training.
you can
I feel
share,
like
that would
certain
help out
individuals
so much.
get emotional.
And if you don't want to leave us
They
up
don't
on
fall
your
back
page
on
for
the
too long,
training
I
unless
completely
they're emotional,
understand.
they lose
It
sight
would
of
not
what
hurt my
they're doing
feelings
and how they're
if
supposed to
you delete it later.
when it comes to being
Where's
professional.
loud
Start
and
making it
proud?
personal instead of
No,
professional.
Yes, it is. And
I'm
you know when
embarrassed of us
emotions are
sometimes.
high, you're not thinking clear, and the
Did you
only thing
do
you
the
do is
battery?
you're fixated
Yeah.
on one
Bright and
thing.
renewed.
And that's always
I did.
Yeah. And the ego gets involved, pride gets involved, and
Yeah.
people start acting real stupid.
And you think that, well, I'm the police. How dare you talk to me like that? But first of all, you're the police. You gotta respect
What's up,
everyone. You gotta
Jamie?
come and talk to them with respect. You
Nikki.
don't come talking to them crazy like they're a dog or they're an
And
animal.
Nikki's
No,
like,
come say,
I
"Hey,
haven't
man,
asked you in a
Officer
few days.
so-and-so. Nice
Where's
to
the
meet you.
kill?
What's the problem? You don't come in and
At the end of the day, we're all human beings.
you gotta
No.
respect.
Do you guys have any contact with
Teresa
the
will
police? Do you
pray for your
actually have
safety,
any
but
any table
hopefully
conferences?
it's not severe and you
No,
can
don't see
just
it.
enjoy
We
it.
haven't seen it. No.
I haven't seen a single policeman.
What are your thoughts
We
about
saw, like,
this?
something happened, like,
I built this scene earlier.
Yeah, we haven't seen cops around here in maybe like a week or
That's
so.
It might be something we could
They're
do.
around.
They're around, but they're not around.
If everyone's gonna be like, "Oh no, that is too small,"
I'm
please.
sure you guys got stuff to do, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. All right, be good. Take care of yourself, guys. Be safe.
Oh, Teresa, I'm
All right,
sorry
thank
about
you.
that. And Tiff, if you want.
Brad, I'm dying. That's hilarious.
Absolutely.
Just can't look at the brofist
Thank you.
without
How you doing?
laughing.
Yeah, do you mind if we're on camera here?
No, not at all.
Okay, great. Yeah, so what's going on?
What's up, Stephanie?
Let me go through my bookmarks. I have a really good weather radar. I'm gonna pull that up for the nation real quick.
Pine and Olive.
Okay, so just down basically one block and up one, right?
No, just right there.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
What's up, Chad?
So kind of kitty corner from the police station, the
Right.
East Precinct.
Intel, my brother, what's
And
up?
So when
Good to see you, Chad.
the protests first started back at the end of May, my
Department of
building was
Dad, I like
behind
it.
Police
You're right
barricades,
back. Gonna
And they set up
be
their
covered
whole
in cake
military
batter.
base,
Oh my
like,
gosh,
right on my
what
block,
an
right outside
awesome
my
way to
front
be
door. So there were like hundreds of riot police with their big clubs and their armor.
Let's see if there's any like
right,
big time
and,
news.
there were like a lot of SWAT carrying around like rubber bullet guns and National Guard, and like snipers up on the roofs, and like armored vehicles. I mean, it was like a full military base had just like sprung up right on my block.
Right.
And I had to go through these barricades and show my ID just to kind of like
You had to show ID to go through these barricades?
Yeah, just to get back home.
Was that just to prove your residence?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And so it was like all of a sudden this huge military operation just fell out of the sky right onto my block. And me and like the residents were caught up in that. And like we watched as they staged these operations where, I mean, they just assaulted these protesters. And you know, on Sunday night in particular, the last night that the police
Sunday
were here before they left, right? They unloaded everything they had onto the protesters, like hundreds of flashbangs. This whole block, the whole Cal Anderson field was swallowed up in tear gas.
Yeah.
I heard it at like midnight, 12:30 a.m. I heard the grenades start to go off, and I went out onto my balcony and just got hit in the face with tear gas.
That must have just gone all the way into your unit, all the way into your apartment.
It got into tons of people's apartments.
We heard that up on this corner up here that somebody had a tear gas canister was lobbed up into the actual unit right there on the corner.
That's the corner that we're looking at.
And you know,
isn't it?
we were questioning, like, was it maybe one of the protesters throwing it back?
I don't know.
It was just like, well, they would have been going
Hey,
the other
Nate.
direction
I
then.
don't
So
know what
yeah,
you're talking about.
that's wild.
I
They
mean,
had to
I
get
just
rid of the excess.
I couldn't
Oh, boy,
believe how
okay.
much they unloaded. It was like they knew they were leaving the next day and just wanted to just use up. all
Oh,
the
thank you,
weapons they had.
Mallory.
Yay.
Mackenzie,
And
what's
then,
up?
You know, I checked Twitter, and I saw like some people were unconscious on the street, had been hit with the flashbangs.
And these are
and
just
that
thunderstorms
the
that we're
EMT
seeing in the
volunteers who were
U.S.
trying to help
or
them
North
were
America,
also getting
really.
shot at with rubber bullets and
We're on
flashbangs.
windy.com for
And
that.
that, you know, people were really
Wow,
getting hurt and
that's
maybe even
satisfying
dying.
to watch
You
also.
felt any of that was necessary?
It was completely unnecessary. I walked from behind the police barricades in the military base
North Dakota's
out
getting
into the
some
demonstrations
thunder boomers.
regularly
Eh?
and saw nothing but
Oh, yeah.
peaceful, community-oriented folks who were exercising their basic right to advocate for justice, for Black lives. People who are just grieving the like atrocious acts of past weeks by police. Like anybody with even escalation 101 training would see, like, oh, we need to make space for these people, right? To grieve, to express themselves, to organize. Like the police came in and criminalized it immediately and attacked it with like these non-lethal means that seemed really, really messed up from being just walking around and seeing it happen and then watching them do it from behind the barricades.
Yeah.
And yeah, just
Tim
totally
says
lost trust in the
Facebook
police.
looks even more
Witnessing
disgusting
that.
than it already
How do you feel
was.
about them coming
Right.
back?
So,
It's like Facebook
so
institutionalized.
since they left,
Hey, I wanna
especially
hear
like
us.
the week or two
I didn't
after
know
they
that was an
left,
option.
it was like just a huge relief because that police
You're
state,
low,
that militarized violence against protesters
like
had
way
ended.
low.
And
Escalation
largely
101.
speaking, there wasn't really any violence. I didn't have people hassling me anymore, just coming into my building. There were lots of rumors floating around about how, like, oh, well, now there are thugs wandering the street and they're IDing people
Right.
and they're like trying to make people
Hello,
pay
is that
to
any better?
walk the streets. Like, I didn't see any of that. That
Right,
all seemed like a false narrative that was
Sure.
made up by Fox News and whoever else.
It's what
Right?
brought us out here, actually.
Like, yeah, in fact, I was just like, oh my gosh, things are so much better. And then all this artwork flourished and like more of this mutual aid culture. And like they had the stage set up there where they were centering Black voices and perspectives and teach-ins, and folks are coming in here learning. All sorts of resources and aid is made available. And it was like this site of violence and warfare instigated by the police was like transformed into this creative community space.
Right.
And that was really amazing to witness.
Yeah.
And I was happy, especially after how I'd sort of lost faith in the police and been converted to this mindset of like, wow, defunding the police, taking a big part of their
Amanda, that's just covering
like
thunderstorms,
taking a big part of their
active
budget and putting it
thunderstorms right
towards
now.
human health and public health and safety. Like, oh, that made all the sense in the world to me, especially after I witnessed their playbook and what they do, like right on my doorstep. But like now a lot of what's happened is like in this void where there aren't no more police. Like you have lots of folks who are struggling with homelessness, with having mental health crises, folks who might be struggling with addiction.
Angelia,
It makes
what's
sense
up?
that they would come here where there are lots of resources like food, water, they can have shelter, they can have community, and they're not
What's up,
criminalized
Jessica?
or under attack in this space.
Sorry, you're gonna appreciate that. This is something we got to take a look at. This is. Says strong opinions from a lot of people.
Yeah,
Chantel, thank you.
Wow.
Lettuce, what's up, brother?
We've seen a couple of those come through here, those situations. We saw a gentleman at one point ripping down barricades and smashing stuff up down here. Have you caught any footage from your unit up there, from like your balcony? I know I've seen some footage from that building, actually. I think from the roof. Someone's been catching some of the footage from up top there.
You know, I've been mostly trying to just witness with my own eyes, and I have felt a little bit uncomfortable with like recording things and catching things on video, just because I was like, well, is this really my place to kind of come in here and try to capture what's happening?
Chantel, thank you so much for that. Where do you know where that is?
It's a messy thing for sure.
I'm sorry to hear that,
There's also a lot of
Amanda. How you doing,
remnants
Amanda?
of vandalism.
Good afternoon, Stacy. Brofist.
I
Boom.
mean, it doesn't bother. Honestly, it doesn't bother me that
We saw a graffiti cleanup crew when we pulled up that was pulling out. So I think we might have some questions from folks. Oh, well. You're a thorough individual. You've covered a lot of ground, which is great.
much.
Yeah.
Like I said, just been torn out of me.
That's
But
great.
the one point I wanted to finish
Yeah,
was like
please do.
the fact that we have lots of folks here struggling with homelessness and with addiction and with mental health crises. Like, this space was created where folks could come, not feel criminalized, not feel attacked. So it's not surprising to me that a lot of folks who are struggling with that stuff are here and have set up camp, right? But even now, like the effort of the city to transition those folks out of the CHOP,
That's fine, Chantel. I was just
they're
checking.
just giving them they're just giving them hotel vouchers.
No brofist for Zach
And there's not wraparound services. There's not like case management.
from Pittsburgh.
Like, it's
Okay.
just
The streamer
a
is from
total
Pittsburgh.
temporary thing, and the larger problem that we're seeing here on full display, it will just continue.
Sure.
Which, if anything, is just a bigger argument to move some of that huge police budget into the actual social programs to get folks housing, to make sure mental health care services are available,
Sure.
education, et cetera, like. What we see here, some of the more troubling elements are just further evidence.
Yeah, there's a new outbreak in China.
Changes that need to happen.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's how
I had the article pulled up, but I lost it.
It's
I lost it going through.
Yeah, so one of the questions we got from one of our viewers is mainstream media. Have you been following mainstream media to kind of get an idea of what's happening here? I mean, other than from your back porch, or have you been more or less keeping up with?
I don't
folks
know
like
if
us
Chaz
and
has
Concord
necessarily
reporting,
ended.
some of the other outlets that are local that have been catching it from the
I
live
think for the
feeds.
most part,
So, that's a good
the
question.
majority of
Like,
the people have
when
left.
this
There
first
are
started,
still
I had always been kind of
protesters
averse
that
to social media. Never really
refuse
felt
to
comfortable on
leave.
social
So
media. And then I figured out, actually, to get the real-time information that I need to find out what's happening on my block, I just need to look at Twitter.
Yep.
So I got back on Twitter,
up?
and
What's up, Travis?
the
What's up,
hashtags,
Travis?
like hashtag Seattle protest.
BBC News has it.
I could
10-4,
put that in and then get these
10-4.
real-time video feeds with updates in terms of, is it safe to go outside now? What are the police doing now? Where are folks gathering? Like, I found that to be like this incredibly useful resource, that the real-time kind of citizen journalism that was happening on Twitter.
Yeah.
But then the moment that the police left and the Chaz formed and then later became the CHOP, and like Trump tweeted about this place and was like, take your city back and stuff like that. The minute it became under the magnifying glass of the national media, it was like all those Twitter channels where I could look at the work of citizen journalists and stay informed, like all that got flooded with trolls.
Am I
And
a
the
citizen
trolls started
journalist?
showing up here in
I don't
person,
think so.
right?
No, just a
And then it was
podcast.
like, oh man, where do you
What's
get
up,
your
Brian?
information? You
Hey
turn on the
there.
local news and you could see this slant where
Brian,
it was, like, very much
Brofist.
seemed to privilege
Boom.
the established kind of like police perspective. And then, of course, you're not going to get a lot of
Human.
new,
Oh,
like,
look.
great in-depth coverage.
Maybe you
from
ought
the
to read
national
that
news.
too.
And then, of course, they're like Fox News, which is just like a big
Wait,
troll
wait.
Right.
doing their photoshops,
just
like
reading
totally
an article on
misrepresenting
that.
what was going
They got
on.
ran out of here the other day.
Human
Yeah.
remains found during
Their national news crew got just chased out.
Guillen
Yeah,
search.
so as part of that process, I discovered
Vanessa.
Converge Media and Omari Salisbury.
Omar, yeah, he's a great guy.
And I started following people on Twitter who could like kind of curate that information
Absolutely.
that I was looking for.
Yeah.
And then also just leaving like I am right now. I'm just walking around seeing what's going on.
Right. Safe to
Uh,
walk.
and talking to
Vanessa
people.
Guillen,
Yeah,
who was a
safe to walk around,
20-year-old
safe to talk to
that went
people. It's like,
missing
I can
from
get into
Fort
a
Hood,
conversation with
Texas.
almost anybody and just be like, hey,
Is
I
this
live here.
live?
How you
And
doing?
so
Cheers.
she was found
What's
in a
new?
shallow grave.
and hear any word
by
about this,
Leon
about that, and then
River.
like I heard about this city,
Okay.
like human services setting up shop, so I went and
Yeah.
talked to them.
400,000 people under quarantine
And,
Oh my gosh.
for this new outbreak. So you couple that with the Wuhan
I
wiggle
want to know, have you
on
tried
top
to
of
talk
food
to the mainstream
shortages
media at all, or would you refuse to do that if you were?
and civil unrest,
Actually, I was
and you've
approached
got
by,
yourself an SHTF
Cairo
situation.
7 News by a reporter.
Am I right?
There, and was happy to talk to them.
All right, Ashley.
In fact, like any news media source that's like trying to talk to somebody who actually lives here
All I can do is pray.
and has seen like the different phases of what's happened.
All right,
and
Gilbert. Thank you for
especially,
being
like,
here,
for
brother.
me, I feel like I really need to continue to speak out against the police violence that I witnessed, right? Because
We got one
that
beer
was
I don't want beer.
and uncalled
Gotta
for.
answer this call.
And like the narrative that you see out there that tries to spin it as if like the protesters were the criminals.
Right.
It's like, to me, it's more clear to me now than ever that like the police were engaged in criminal activity.
Russ,
They were
brother, what's
they were
up?
criminalizing people who were just exercising their First Amendment rights.
Absolutely.
So like, if I had a chance to speak to them about that, I'm happy to.
Absolutely. We got another question from someone from our.
So how do you feel about how it is around here at night, and do you venture out at night, and do you feel comfortable around here?
Yeah, so I have not had any issues walking around at night, and I live here, and I'm in my mid-30s, but I don't exactly go to bed at like 10 or something, right? Especially on the weekends.
You're on
so-
Twitter till 2 a.m. now. I mean, you're a social media guy now.
Yeah, so I mean, like I come and go like late at night, and I walk around and I talk to folks at night. I haven't had any issues, but like the night that Lorenzo was shot and killed,
Down on the corner of 10th and Pine is where they had the memorial up down there. Yeah.
yeah, I was there.
When he got shot.
No, I was there
LOL,
about
Mr.
45 minutes
Mustache.
before.
Okay.
And it was after Juneteenth stuff
Yep.
had happened. And
A
so there-
mustache,
19th,
a
for anyone who's
mustache.
just
If you
watching
only
this,
had
which
a
you guys wanna talk
mustache.
about.
If
And,
you only
I had been walking through the park. I had just come home from a friend's house,
had a mustache.
and I saw the gathering there, and folks were setting off fireworks.
check out my
so
new
I went over
pic.
to check it out,
I'm thinking of using.
and I saw like a
Okay,
fight
I'll check it
breaking
out.
And then I looked at it, and I was kind of like, this vibe doesn't look good. This might escalate, and so I left and went home. But occasionally I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, that doesn't look great. I guess I'll just walk this way. But I haven't been really afraid.
Let me hit on something that's really recent. I mean, blood on the ground. I mean, right up here on the corner of 12th and Pine, where the shooting just was. Within 24 hours, we've had a fatal shooting, and that's, I mean, a direct line of sight from your building here.
Yeah.
Give me your feelings on that.
Mr.
I think
Mustache.
that's really scary and really tragic, and it's like there's a history of that in this neighborhood.
We keep hearing that, and I think that that's something we should make very clear, that Capitol Hill is a hotbed for a lot of issues. I mean, it's one of the city. It's a major city, Seattle, but it's also one of the major boroughs within that city.
A few years ago, I was going to sleep, and I heard gunfire go off, and it sounded like it was right outside my window. This was a few years ago,
Sure.
and so I went outside to check it out, and witnessed a man who was dying on the street from a gunshot wound, as the police came,
Right.
and saw the getaway car speed off, and
It's a solid name.
that was terrifying, and is unfortunately part of living in this city with
Yes,
all of
he's had like a miraculous
issues like what we
recovery.
were
It's
talking
unreal.
about earlier.
How
And I think that
Coco.
the fact that some of that gets taken
um,
into the chop because this becomes this hot
Yeah,
spot,
he's doing really well. He's
that-
doing really
it
good.
doesn't mean that the chop's creating
Thank
it,
goodness.
Right.
right? It doesn't mean that this is creating it. It means that it's now happening in a neighborhood and under a level of scrutiny where it often is not.
Sure. We're good there. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, what was your name?
I'm Jamie. What's your name?
CJ.
CJ?
Yeah, with Concrete Reporting here. So
Anyways,
there we go.
good
Yeah.
talking to you.
Thank you very much. Be good.
Huzzah!
Bless you. Yeah.
So this
I know.
is, what was
Hope
your Twitch name
everyone is having a good day. Dude, my daughter
What's up, man?
loves
How are you?
that mustache song.
What's up? Doing
She
good,
came
man.
running, lol.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, mustache. Oh, mustache.
Here we are. It's nice to have followers, man. We appreciate you staying with us, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And during these times, honestly, I feel a lot safer with you guys around.
I feel safer with Ian around.
Okay.
He's my protector.
I mean, he was calling you a tool,
Protector.
man, so that,
Yeah,
He's
man.
just trying to stop shy of calling me a tool. That's where he's at. That's what he's saying. I'm an implement of his mass marauding.
So-
here. He's like a puppeteer.
but
It's
would
pretty
you
safe to say
tool being a positive or a negative?
That's an
That,
interpretive thing to go into right now.
I could not do this.
the chop has successfully dissolved on its own.
I've never been called a tool in a positive light. I can say that
Right?
now. I've been called a lot of stuff. Most recently,
Did
I
it
was
not
called-
dissolve on its own?
Just around the corner, yeah.
As an unsustainable.
Not. Let's dispel some.
So, do you think it was sustainable on its own?
I'm not a Fed. Not a white supremacist.
Not for prolonged.
I'm not an alien. That's what everyone says. Some people say I'm Adonis cyborg, and I gotta say I'm not an Adonis cyborg.
All right, honey.
Yeah. You hear that? You just got yourself promoted. You naughty body. Right? This is stream within a stream. Streamception. I typically Ghostbuster rules apply. You should never cross streams, but I don't. It's getting a little bit intimate. I don't know how I want to play that one right now. I don't know the process here. This is all new terrain. Yeah.
Yes.
What is everyone saying?
I was trying to pull up
Okay, I don't remember
some
seeing everyone
stuff.
talking about you guys, but Ian and CJ is definitely a name.
All right.
that, like, I haven't met you guys yet, and I mean, I feel like I've been out here for a while as well, but it's nice that to actually be able to meet you guys in person.
Cool, man. Yeah, it's good meeting you too.
I'm curious with all that you guys have seen, like where is this? Because I thought that they were going to take it down today. Where are we at right now?
And yeah, they say that every day. So originally it was supposed to be last week, right? And then that moved from a Friday, I believe, to a Saturday, to a Sunday, and now here we are on a Tuesday. And they did take down some of the barricades down on 10th, and they're willing to give that concession. You know, everyone here at the Chop is willing to give up. These barricades are doing nothing for anybody. You know, they're here, but they're not doing anything. Yeah, and so they're willing to give these up. Like Rick was saying up here earlier, take them. You know, these are the barricades that they feel are important, that are the ones based off of the incident last night, actually. We got some.
You guys got to get to work.
Well,
You
no.
allowed to be on 12 right now? Last time I was up there, I was told not to stream. So.
Well, you gotta. We got clearance from security to do it. I almost got
I
one
can
wrong.
stream you guys from a distance then.
Yeah, man.
I don't care.
Yeah, streaming. You're part of the stream. Yeah. Yeah. What was it? It was bamboo what?
Had to be at a dentist at
Electric
6
bamboo
a.m.
13.
this morning.
Yeah.
Hubby had a loose tooth, so I had to pull it. Oh,
Oh, he's done talking.
Oh, my
Are we
goodness.
hiring? Was the question.
I can't stand dentist stuff.
100% voluntary basis. Yeah. Actually, we charge a $42.95
So Coco is
processing
doing
fee
just
for
fine.
applicants. So,
He has made a
Sorry.
wonderful. He's recovering. He's recovering very well.
After which we have a certain vitamin line that we're gonna need you to push as well.
Also, for those people wondering, yes, I can see the Twitch stream, and I'm also monitoring the Facebook stream as well.
He's a busy man, Ian.
So being able to stream on 12th and East Pine Street, just like 2 days ago, I was asked to not stream up here. What kind of like hurdles or what did you guys have to do to be like to get the clearance to being able to be?
I mean, honestly, it came down to really maintaining some integrity, and I mean, no one will ever say that we're a journalist. Like, we're journalists, but what we are is real people, like you know, citizen journalists, if you will. And what we're trying to do here. What's up, Brad? How you doing, brother?
Brad here, another legend of the streaming community.
Yeah.
Bro,
Brad has stories.
And I have something for you, Brad.
You don't want to say that on camera, probably?
Oh, thank you. Oh, this is gonna be for you.
Oh, okay. Good looking. No, what he just said.
Yeah. This is something that that people probably don't know about. We help each other out a lot. Like Brad let me borrow
Oh, nice,
an
nice.
extra phone to use for like the kind of thing that I'm doing now with my phone.
okay.
And I let him use one of my walkies so we could communicate if we were ever here and we needed to find each other, because a lot of our viewers were like, "Hey, Brad's here. He's looking for you. Oh, Ian's here. He's looking for you."
Those are the details that we know, again, in the search for Vanessa Guillen, who has been missing since April the 22nd, last seen on Fort Hood. Since then, there's been searches, there have been protests, her own regiment searching Fort Hood, saying they were actively searching to bring her back home safely. And for you all joining us this afternoon, what we can confirm is that partial human remains have been found in the search for Vanessa Guillen. Again, we do not know the identity of the remains, but we can say that human remains were found in the search for Vanessa Guillen. Army CID reiterating that they were called back out here to this area behind me here near the Leon River after a credible tip led them back here this morning, and that's where those remains were discovered. Again, Army CID, Fort Hood investigators are out here. The FBI is here. Bell County Sheriff's Office is here. Texas EquiSearch is here. There is a swarm of authorities here. We're also told minutes ago by the Bell County Sheriff's Office that they will be out here for the remainder of the day. As you can imagine, not a discovery anyone wants to make. Vanessa's been missing for over 2 months. Again, reiterating, partial human remains found. We do know that. We can confirm that. The identity of those human remains is what we cannot confirm right now. Again, just want to stress that. I know people may say, oh, it's her ex, whatever information may be out there. Again, just want to reconfirm that we do not know who these remains are, but I can tell you, speaking with Tim Miller, who's the founder of Texas EquiSearch, he did tell me the search is over. That in and of itself is heartbreaking news, but it's, as we know, again, the family is in Washington, D.C. right now with their attorney, Natalie Klum. They were set to hold a press conference in front of the U.S. Capitol building tomorrow, as their attorney has been pushing for the federal government to get involved, to pressure not only Fort Hood, but to pressure politicians to get involved in that search. As just recently with the press conference last week, Gloria Guillen, Vanessa's mother, speaking in Spanish passionately about finding her daughter and wanting President Trump to also get involved. So we do know tomorrow they were set to excuse me, they were set to hold a press conference and to push more in that investigation. And here we are today in a discovery in her search. In the search for Vanessa Guillen, partial human remains were found. We will have more again coming up in just about 15 minutes on KWTX News 10 at our 5 o'clock. Our team coverage will start then on air, online as well, bringing you the latest here on this discovery that no one wanted. We do know those partial remains found here in the area near Leon River. I'm Brandon Hamilton again. Kind of want to give you all an update before we have to end this to go on air. So again, for you all watching at home on your mobile devices, we can confirm again partial human remains found in the search for Vanessa Guillen. We cannot confirm the remains are of hers, but we will have the latest. We expect investigators to keep arriving here on the scene, so hopefully we will able to confirm that for you, who those remains or what has come out of this search. We'll be able to confirm that for you for later. Again, was also told by Tim Miller that he is on the way here. So as we get more information, we will definitely share that with you. Again, you've been watching coverage here on our Facebook page. We will be switching as well, bringing you coverage in just a matter of minutes on air at KWTX. Again, going to step out of the way for you guys take another look at this still active scene here near the Leon River in rural Bell County.
That are planned here, where people are kind of getting together, the council, if you will, people that are part of the Occupy protests that are trying to maintain some kind of linear cohesion, right? Because there's been a lot of independent operations as far as people's views and opinions. We talked to Rick earlier. I'm sure you saw that.
I didn't see that one.
Well, you can check us out. Get on stream, Concrete Reporting. You can get us on Twitter, Twitch, Twitter. You can find us on YouTube. You can also find us on Facebook. So, no, but we talked to Rick. Periscope. Our peeps at Periscope. But we talked to him, and he made it really clear that, there's a very strong, passionate opinions from him. And people that were sitting right back over here on the barricades, like, hey, just make it clear he doesn't speak for all of us. And when I talked to them, he even said the same thing. He's like, hey, they don't speak for me. And so really, that's what this is all about. We don't speak for anybody other than everybody, give everybody a voice. So I get distracted because Ian over here is trying to monitor like 15 things at the same time. And every once in a while I see the camera start fading.
Thank you for the offer. I'm sorry, I didn't get to respond.
If you look this direction.
I mean, I like the synergy though. It's somebody mentioned like you guys read each other's minds a little bit. How many hours have you guys together doing?
Honestly,
We've
done quite a few hours now, just in the last week. I mean, we've really honestly, what happened was, what beautiful thing, and what's happened a lot with a lot of the citizen journalists that are happening out here, which I like the term that guy used, citizen journalist, which is awesome. Yeah.
I believe with the Fort Hood situations, a soldier went missing many months ago, and they've been searching, and they just found human remains, and I think that they are now calling off the search. Pretty much gonna go ahead and assume it's her, but they said they don't know who it is, so there is
Low
that.
minds. Absolutely. It's just what we found is, to be real about it, I'm a bigger guy. I'm not a small dude. I'm not saying Ian is, but
No, I am.
But when it comes down to it, we've both built relationships with the community here, with the occupants and with people that are kind of organizing, and we've been very involved. We've been on the marches. We've been, right here in the crux of it all from the jump. And so what we found is that people have learned to trust us. But you do find that there's tempers flare, people get heated, and it does help being a bigger guy. Which
also, he's just better in front of the camera. Like CJ has this focus that, I started concrete reporting, but I think that it's important to recognize your team and their strengths, even if they're better than you. I still jump in and ask questions and stuff, but in general, I try to put CJ in front of the camera when we're together.
I think this is.
It works really well.
It wouldn't happen unless we had this. This, I think, is what distinguishes us from a lot of what's happening, is that we're able to have this synergy here. But
you guys got cool movements around. You got different angles.
Oh, he's a stud, dude. This guy's a G.
I actually also.
You're working. I see you moving.
He's good.
I used to do photography, so this is actually I've never tried film before, so it's actually really, really fun.
Yeah.
To dip into something kind of similar but new.
What's cool about the way this happened is, like we said, mainstream media. We both had tuned in and seen things happening, like on Fox. We keep saying Fox. I feel like we're plugging them too much. We saw things on mainstream media, and being from the neighborhood and having lived here and knowing it, we're like, no, that can't be really what's going on. So we came out, right? Yeah. And after seeing it firsthand, it was like
Were you
it was like I was awestruck. I'm like, this is insane. How incredibly twisted the narrative is from mainstream media. It's not at all what's going on. And so I had friends and people are like, hey man, would you give us an idea of what's happening on the inside? And after 1 or 2 days of that, Ian was doing the same thing on his side of it, and we kept kind of seeing each other. And
meeting is on stream.
Yeah, we met on stream actually. Like we had just closed our stream down and we ran into Ian in the park, but we kept seeing each other in the background. Like you'd probably see this a couple times from my stream to his stream, you know, doing the duck under.
I'm like, man, the guy looks like a cop. What the
Right? See, I tell you, I hear that a lot. But there it is. I went offend. That's what people say. I have a cop nose because it's punchable, apparently. Okay. Whatever. And it has been punched many times. Not because I'm a cop, because I'm not. But
somebody mentioned this in the comments just now, that my bias comes out a little too much, and you're pretty neutral, and that's true. I mean, like, but I make no like illusions.
Any
about
predictions?
that. Like,
Any predictions? Predictions for the night?
You're gonna see the same shit that you see with CJ or anything else. You know, you're gonna see the real story. But with me, you're probably gonna hear my opinion about it a little bit
I
more.
think it's just up in the air at this point.
Really hard to be
Something is going down here very soon. Actually, right now, we need to be looking into Salem, Winston-Salem.
I fucking hate racism, and there's so many people down there that are like homophobic, racist, just complete bigots. And so I tried, but I just couldn't. So now I'm just like, it's more like an op-ed with me all the time. Like, you're gonna hear my opinion, but just if you don't want to hear it, just mute it, and then you can still see it. You know, you don't have to listen to me at all. That kind of thing. But
and really, what he just said is a big deal for everything that we're doing here. So, like I said, we met in the park down here at Cal Anderson, and we realized that our views and ideology lined up perfectly with what we were trying to accomplish. And I had my network of people that were following me, and Ian had his, and it just kind of like the two have melded perfectly. And we've got the most incredible team of mods, people that are in our background that are just doing incredible volunteer work, which are amazing, helping make this all happen.
Shout out to Crystal, our graphic designer. Shout out to Kate, our video editor.
Yeah. Shout out to Shay doing her part, killing it. People that have just given us, I mean, I've learned more in the last week about how to make this happen than I ever would have thought I'd known in a lifetime. And I still don't know enough. But the beauty part was that, like what he said, you don't have to like everything Ian says. You don't have to like everything I say. We're simply we're kind of like just a screen to look through to see what's happening behind
thank you.
And we talk to people, and we don't put words in their mouth. We let them say what they feel. We talked to a resident there. We talked to some of the private security a second ago. You saw that. We've talked to business owners. We've talked to occupants. We've talked to gun-holding security, you know. And the beauty part is that they have a chance to give their narrative, like what they feel, how they see it. And even in that, they may not get along. And they're standing 3 feet from each other, but they're standing on the same line. And I think that's really important, that we can appreciate that, like, you got these alt-lefts, and you got these alt-rights, and then you've got all these people in the middle that are trying to get their agenda heard too, but they're getting drowned out by these extremists. And what would happen if these rights and lefts were to come together and sit down at the table? Like I've said before, you'd find out they have so much more in common than they probably realize, that these people in the middle, these neutral ground individuals like where we're at, that are just like, hey, let's talk about like policy, not politics. There'd be a lot more peace in the whole and harmony.
Chantel, that link just will not work
like
for me for some reason.
And the hardcore is like harmony.
I'm gonna try and pull it off of.
But no, man, like we're all trying to find a peaceful resolution.
I got a couple more tricks.
People that I care to associate with.
For broken
where
links.
I think the world is going to find its growth and progression are the ones that are looking for a conversation that can happen, that'll get to a resolution. You don't need to throw a rock or a bottle or hit someone with tear gas to figure out what they're thinking or to push your agenda in their face.
Device is a little bit different, so this might pause for a second. I'm going to check my brightness.
We are actually waiting because we want to talk to David Lewis.
Got it.
And he's
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, babe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Derek Jones, Derek Allen Jones. Y'all seen me on this channel before. I go by.
I had read that the Riot Kitchen.
Thank you, Chantel. Shout out to all the Link Warriors.
I had read that.
Hey, brother, you're back. Alan, yes, indeed. I made it back.
Yeah.
So what did you want to talk about for tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like Riot Kitchen is not moved. I had heard that they maybe moved. But I also I think there's a fundraiser maybe for them to get like a physical food truck so that they could be mobile in case things change.
Walter, what's up, brother? Thank you, Chantel.
Wow, who would have thought, guys? iPhone 8, better audio, better video than the iPhone 10. Way to go, Apple. I haven't seen this sign yet. I like it. Really clear. Awesome. All right.
Thank you so much,
it's official.
babe.
This is the new streaming device.
Thank you, babe.
Yeah, I am.
Crap. Still a little bit of coffee in there.
Everyone want to see how much I don't know how to clean a lens and how dirty it is?
Sorry, hon.
I've been yelled at multiple times to clean my lens. Yeah, I was not about to get another new device, but I'm glad I had it. I'm glad I have insurance.
Okay, Ashley, will do.
Nancy, people were talking about that on the stream, but I have no direct first-hand information about it possibly being covered. So, if I get any information on that getting covered, I'll let you know.
So how's everybody doing tonight? What's everybody sipping on? Does everybody have a tasty beverage?
It does look really clear. I will say that. I feel like there's a possibility that my
predictions for tonight.
my
1,
10
stuff is
my
going
iPhone
down.
10 that got,
2, it's
stolen
going to be quiet.
I don't like clothing.
First off, what are you drinking
too
on?
much information maybe. But I also don't like
No problem,
big
Teresa.
cases on my phone. So I was a quote unquote naked iPhone user. And it got dropped at work a bunch of times.
Coffee.
So it was
Yay.
cracked.
Yes,
so
indeed.
it's entirely possible that my camera was not in full functioning
Leader of the
mode.
pack. Cheers, everybody.
Yes, Shanta, CJ is out here with Ian.
So the officer in Atlanta is going to bail out of jail 10% of 500,000, 50,000. Get him out of jail. Wow. Wow. The best tasty beverage is protein shake.
Yeah, CJ.
Coffee, yes indeed.
This is why I wear shorts all the time, folks.
Just water. Think it will be pretty quiet. I have Kool-Aid, LOL, Anastasia. Is it mixed with vodka?
Both CJ, Ian is
or
operating
vodka?
The camera and CJ is speaking on mic.
I think it won't get too wild tonight. Yeah?
Thanks,
Maybe
Paula.
not.
Hi. Did you guys get enough? I know there was a request for those clear bins.
Alan, you might have to message me over at the Unspecified Facebook, Unspecified Podcast and Review over on Facebook.
Okay. More so than clear ones?
Yeah, the clear ones are not stackable.
Okay. Okay.
It's like the more heavy ones
Okay.
are helpful.
Do you mind if I do a little quick video passover so that people can see what that looks like?
And stolen them essentially. So we were trying to prevent them from being stolen. Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. So that's the thing though, is like people thought we were trying to steal them too, and I'm like.
On our stream, actually, we.
All the vodka.
Converge. Yeah, one of your journalists was the one yelling at us. So.
Yeah. Well, we're concrete. Yeah.
I've got my messenger open for Unspecified Podcast and Review right now.
You confronted one of the gentlemen.
Jefferson Square Park. Is there another protest happening at Jefferson Square?
Yeah, we're part of the art co-op.
What was that, in Louisville, Kentucky?
What are you working on right now?
Breonna Taylor.
My prediction is going to be a lot of people who need
So how do you feel about being out here right now?
to take a bathroom break.
This is probably gonna be my last day. Yeah, I
What?
used to live in Oakland.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
and,
A lot of people that need to take a
that's the
bathroom
thing
break?
is, like, there's been people setting off fireworks here, you know, and oh yeah, just agitators, because none of the protesters here
Oh,
would
okay.
ever set off
Awesome.
fireworks.
I'd love to see that,
And
Alan.
when I used to live in Fruitvale in Oakland, where Oscar Grant was shot by the BART police, and the only day that you were pretty much guaranteed that it was actually fireworks being set off and not gunshots was July 4th. Yeah, and so you know, like,
It's like the murder capital of the nation for a while.
yeah, and I grew up across the street from EPA. I don't know if you know what that is. Yeah, which was the murder capital of the 90s. Yeah, so.
Day in the life.
I mean, it sort of feels like going back to California, honestly.
Did you leave Oakland to get away from that?
No, I.
What do
my
you mean,
grandma was
yes,
sick, so I
Landon?
came up to Seattle to take her.
Ashley, I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget.
I mean, but that's the thing is, like, you know, when I.
So where's
I
everybody
started
watching from
shooting the
tonight?
protests,
Where are we at?
Like about a month ago, when the stuff in downtown started happening, and you know, and back then it was easy because there was the police and there was us, and they were tear gassing us, and we were resisting, and I don't know, like the Trump.
I think it would just fatten me up more, Tim.
Free food and water and couches for homeless to sleep on, and those who are mentally ill are supported by the community. The de-escalation techniques
We got Illinois.
Amazing.
Illinois
they
in
have
the
not
house.
needed the police to self-regulate. There was one guy who came in here, a black man who came in and started yelling "All Lives Matter," and everyone around him started chanting "Black Lives Matter" for like 5 minutes and getting in his face and really loud until he started laughing.
Rhode Island,
and started
Funky
talking to everyone.
Town,
Yeah,
Vegas,
and it's just like that.
North
that's the thing
Dakota
the media
for
doesn't
3 more
capture,
weeks.
You know, is they just say, "Oh, Perkins says it's cleared
St.
out in
Louis.
Woodley. Oh, you know, Chief
When's the last time you went to the
Harmon Best
Arches?
says it's, you know, like people need to leave, but they don't capture what's really happening.
Living in misery.
And that's like stuff like this, like the music, the art, the people who have been peacefully protesting for, you know, pretty much 3 weeks now. You know, like the kids making rock art.
We had an
Right?
incredible interview with a little girl named Penelope and Fiona and their
Yeah.
mom. They were just adorable over here on Sunday. They were
Yeah.
incredible. And their biggest thing is to bring them out and let
Yeah.
them see what's happening and teach them that everyone. And I asked them
Yeah.
what's important. Like, well, everyone's
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
early age, we can just get that message.
All right, thank you, Jake.
And that's the thing too is like.
Of course,
people-
Vice would.
People don't realize how powerful this place is because a lot of people have been reading.
Of
Fox
course
or
Facebook
CNN
would.
Or, you know, any of the
All right,
other
what's everybody's
places
thoughts
that
on
actually
these
represent what's
these
going on. And so that's why I've been
Hawaiian
telling
shirt
friends,
gentlemen?
Like, if you're in or around
Please
Seattle,
fill me in on
come
what
see
you
it for
think.
yourself. Because
Have you
that's
just
really,
been
like,
told
what's really
by the
happening.
news what they are, or do you really know
The
one?
thing is, it's like, you know, when for, you know, because there have been a lot
Vice
of
News.
and when a black teenager, not even an adult, is killed in a place where
Oh,
people
we
have
got
been
Halifax.
BLM,
What? Thank you for
like,
being here, Laura.
that's sort of sending
Thank you
the
so much,
message
everybody,
that
for being
Trump
here.
is more important than black lives.
Illinois.
And so that's why I was like,
Boom,
I'm not here to
bro
create a new
fist.
Oakland. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to create, not to destroy. I'm an artist. I'm not here to hurt anyone. So that's probably why it's going to be my last day here. I'm just going to finish as much of Breonna as I can.
Canada.
You know,
Yes,
keep on
sir.
working on the art, because I think the art is
Hawaiian shirt
you see the
gentleman
chop art. It's
of the,
probably been the most amazing thing
you
about
know,
it, honestly.
variety.
It's been incredible.
Yeah.
We appreciate your contribution. We'll let you get back to it so you can get as much done as possible. Thanks so much. CJ. Sakura, pleasure to meet you. Yeah, we're the Concrete Reporting, so if you ever want to,
I don't know what.
we're doing.
Oh,
It's all
okay. Lisa, you don't know what they are.
hidden
Okay.
Streaming, so people can really
Okay.
see what's happening. Take the narratives from mainstream media.
We have a lot of respect for you guys.
Yeah.
It's all right. I think
He was a plant, so like, you know.
yeah, no, I mean, the people who have been
Like
out
the
here,
no,
like,
they're not like
you
the
know,
Proud Boys. The Proud Boys is just a like a boys club, which I don't even know if it's a boys club. I actually think they have girls in it. Which it's actually a multicultural group. I think there's a lot of negative propaganda against these groups. Any group that's on the right is immediately labeled far right just because they're a group of right.
Sharpie, and we're using a shopping cart to transport the art, so it's not ideal in any sense of the word. But you know, he started compiling like a Google Folders photo like thing and a spreadsheet to be more accountable. And so, yeah, it's like, you know, it's hard because it's such a flashpoint for a lot of people. And
Thank you, Alan.
you know,
I'll get
people have
over
been
and
seeing
check
me
that out
moving,
right
so they know
away.
me, and they've been seeing Brian working on the barricades, so they know
Please
him.
explain Hawaiian shirt,
So,
gentlemen.
but-
I'm clueless about that. It is such a freaking rabbit
I mean,
hole,
people
man.
are going to respect
So
you if
it's
you're out
like
here 24 hours
militarized,
and, like,
armed
actually reporting what's
patriots,
happening, like,
and
hard,
they've
right?
they've
And, like,
got
the
their
protests and
anti,
the
you know,
occupation as opposed
anti
to
that,
the shootings
and
the politicians and the spinning
you
in
know,
the fucking media and fucking
they
Fox
label them
and
far
news outlets
right.
fucking get me
Anyway, they
started
just
on
got
that.
kicked off of
Yeah,
Facebook.
I saw that. I saw that picture of this young guy.
They're
I was
really
like,
just gun
fucking
guys
bad.
who
I
are
can't
tired
lie
of
about
gun
this
infringement.
anymore.
That's it. So, I mean, it's really nothing new. You've heard about guys like this for a long time. They don't have any serious agenda. They're not like a militia, even though they are basically a militia.
Oh my god.
There is left-wing boob boys. That's right.
I don't know if you heard about
That's
this.
right.
And they were shooting a white guy with a gun at the barricades. They did not even come into the chop.
And that was one of the private security guys probably was down there.
Yeah, they just shot
So-
that and they didn't even come in here.
It makes sense.
I was like,
oh, we got what we wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
Yeah, they got
dangerous.
what we wanted and
Yeah, I could agree with that. It's possible to consider them
Well,
dangerous.
good for them. I saw that picture.
But
I was
they're a
like,
good group of guys, in my
River getting
opinion.
in their faces. And I was like, good. Someone needs to
I very closely, you know, I'm not one of them. You know, I don't own Hawaiian shirts or anything like that,
Someone just
but
dropped $5. I think that's a
I
donation
can
for
understand the sentiment of what they believe in.
I don't know where it
You
came
know,
from, but it
but
was just on the road.
wow.
Oh yeah, some lady gave it to me. Yeah, I mean, the lady
I am not anti that. I just think there should be less regulation and legislation. Wow. Wow.
Oh my God.
Thank you for that, Alan. Or was that Jake? That was, I believe,
Hey,
Jake.
how you doing?
Behind that, what's that lady, cheap vest or whatever? I
Yeah.
like give them hell because I'm 60, wait a minute, 55 years old.
Yeah.
I remember
Give me just a
the
second,
days
folks.
when colored bathrooms, white bathrooms in many areas of this country. I was born into oppression. Now here's 2020.
Sorry about that.
And we still dealing with the same fuck shit. I'm too old. I have grandchildren most likely around here. I have 2 daughters,
Most likely?
1 son. We look like, it seems like we took the American dream and left the younger
got you, Alan.
generation, our children and grandchildren, an American nightmare. They cannot afford to go to get their own place. They can't afford to go to school. So it's a form of serfdom that they
Ooh,
want to
here you go.
establish, either from
What you got?
cradle
Ooh-wee.
to jail.
Thank you,
or to
baby.
the military.
Are you back?
Because lots of us, we
Well,
would
thank
want
goodness.
better. But unfortunately,
village.
we can't get it because the way the system is set
It's
up.
completely unacceptable, David. You know me, I have my own show, but I let you do.
There's not a village.
It's just us.
It's just us. And you're busy, so that means I'm gone.
I'm proud of our little village.
Me too.
I guess nowadays that would be considered wrong.
You're pretty good little chieftain, I say.
We're gonna go there. David's gonna try and do journalism. Ideally,
What's going on here?
because nothing happened.
Any people here now? What would you like us to do?
Off my land, that's what I would like.
We've got another gender.
Touch my f***ing elder.
Your elder?
What you're doing is causing a disturbance with everybody here. I need to ask you to leave, okay?
What have I done?
Not all the time. I've changed my mind. I know he's pretty good food himself, but lately.
Come on!
That in Toronto, the town square is a place where journalists can go peacefully. So if that is not
It's
true,
you're hearing
we
the
need to know.
replay.
Oh, okay.
Tiff doesn't do all the cooking. I just, since I've started the show, I haven't done very much.
That's okay. It's a team effort.
And Matthew, if you don't believe, you might be surprised.
Don't run away from love. Don't run away from love. Oh, don't run away from love.
All I did for almost a decade was work in kitchens.
I'm a cameraman.
Can I see?
Are you gonna stop me instead of them trying to block me?
I'm asking you.
I don't have to provide you anything.
Okay, well,
Just like they don't have to provide anything to you. I'm not harassing them. They're following me.
You are in their space.
Yeah,
Can you
right.
please stop?
No.
Just came here to see what's going on. You guys are getting violent right away.
We evolve through love and diversity.
That's what we do.
We evolve through love and diversity.
That's what we do.
We evolve through love and diversity.
Listen to the chants. Folks, welcome to John Tory's Toronto. Hey, get off me. Don't stop my hand. Don't stop my hand away. What do you mean? Huh? Is that?
LOL.
I will trespass
Are we
you for
considering the subscriber your village now?
So this isn't probably the best time to be coming
No,
here
y'all
because
have
I
to
understand
use
what
that.
you're trying to do.
Landonites,
So for today,
right?
City Hall
Landonians.
security and their staff, they're trespassing you.
Unspecifiedians.
Escort you off the property.
We're non-specific.
Our purpose is to do journalism. And we're gonna make this a fight for civil liberties.
No
We shouldn't have to hire all these security.
It's really me
lawyers.
that's 15
But we're
seconds
not
behind
gonna
Anastasia.
concede that we can be kicked off City Hall. We don't live in Iran or China. We don't,
I could agree with
we
that,
don't
Matt.
clear out
Seriously,
City Hall.
the numbers would be so low outside of prison that it's
So I don't wanna
abysmal,
come across as threatening.
non-threatening in my opinion. However, I understand they could group up.
When our people were driven
I don't
out
know.
of public square by the
Threatening
police,
to anyone that
will
they would
never
target.
happen again.
You know what I mean?
with this.
Yeah,
But we're
but
gonna be
just
so
not.
compliant with the law.
As a whole, I can
It's not like there are huge groups in every major city and small town in America. It just doesn't exist.
That's illegal. That's
It's an invisible boogeyman that they've taught people that exists, in my opinion.
But just for poops and giggles, I went to Raz Simone's Instagram page and like people are sending him some really
just in
messed
case,
up
not if the
messages.
protesters
Like nobody
attack us,
deserves to be talked to
but
the
if
way that
City
people
Hall
are talking to
attacks
them.
us in real time.
And it's shocking,
We're gonna
but
meet our security detail
you know,
at City Hall that will walk across the street, and hopefully we'll be done in half an hour. Hopefully it'll be.
Jake, Duncan Limp was not necessarily the leader. He was just creating a social, an encrypted social network that those Hawaiian shirt gentlemen could freely converse on without censorship or anything like that. But he wasn't necessarily the leader at all. He was just a guy who had programming skills or, coding skills. And somebody on Instagram finished his work.
Dang, I don't even know about them.
Duncan Limp happened. There was a no-knock raid done on his house, and they shot him through a window while he was asleep.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one where the girlfriend got hit too?
I don't know. Duncan Limp was his name.
Black people, and evidently we're not allowed to be on the square. It is like the Antifa autonomous city in Seattle, but it's even amped up a little more because it's right where the seat of government is here in the municipality of Toronto, Toronto City Hall. We were told that by police that if we didn't exit the square, we would be arrested and charged with trespass, and yet they're turning a blind eye to the squatters. Not only that, folks, the city is aiding and enabling them by putting up porta potties for their comfort. But we don't take no for an answer here at Rebel News. We fight for freedom, and I'm right now with the commander himself, Ezra Levin. What did you make of our experience yesterday, Ezra?
It was completely
I
unacceptable.
like that his
David.
microphone
You
is
know me,
like
I
office
have my own
taped
show,
to
but
a
I
hockey
let you
stick.
do most of the field work in
sorry,
Ontario,
what was
but
that?
I like that his microphone is like.
A hockey
we had
stick?
one
Well, no,
security
it's
guard
like
with you.
office
The
taped
police
to
were
a
not there, and
to
you
a.
were
It's
sworn
mostly.
back in.
I
Our
brought this
security
mostly to bring a
guard
hockey
did
stick.
their job and pulled you
Like,
out of there.
it's a
But it
short
was
hockey stick
outrageous
though.
Have you
the
ever
police were not
watched
there.
hockey?
It is
It's
unacceptable
pretty violent, eh?
that the police dismissed
It was a
Northern
big thing
folks
when I was in
are
Alaska.
because they get it all out on the rink. If
It,
you know
it
what
was
I'm
like
saying,
the
eh?
only sports entertainment available, at least during the winter. And so yeah, going to hockey games was like all that.
Well, I'm just saying.
It wasn't all
Southerners-
fist fights though. It was just
Southerners
violent
don't have
hockey.
teeth because of poor dental hygiene and fights, and Northerners don't have teeth because of
Squatters camp.
Well, yeah.
Literally on the plaza in front of City Hall.
I'm
They
just
abide
kidding.
that, but they tell peaceful,
Eh?
law-abiding journalists to skedaddle. No. So we are back here today with 7 security guards and our lawyer, Aaron Rosenberg.
She gets people
It's
food.
absurd.
Who does?
We
Me?
have a
I
team
get people
of
food.
7, 8, 9, 10 people plus
Where do you see
5.
that?
We got 15 people here today
Matthew.
just to assist you doing a story. So we're going to go into this camp now, and you're going to do a normal story. What I'm going to be looking for, and so will our lawyer.
Who is that,
will
Spyrus?
John Tories
And long time no see, brother.
politicized
Brofist. Thank you for being here.
have ignored this illegal encampment. Will they try to crack down on you, on me, on our professional license?
Do you feel like you have an adequate
If so,
room
we have
now?
a serious problem. Let's go to the front steps of the city hall, and let's let you do journalism. We're going to be so compliant with the law. We're going to be professional. We're going to be
It doesn't.
normal. We're not gonna
I'm
be
indifferent, Tim. I don't know. I'm not a huge supporter of any political figure at all. However, I will say I think that his rating is down because the right answer is not him on the phone. So if they're polling people, they're going to give the right answer, if you know what I mean, which is clearly
folks,
who.
we're at literally the scene of the crime.
Right.
This is the illegal
So
encampment.
the only reason the polls look so wacky, just like they did with Hillary, was because Hillary was the right choice if you don't want the mob to be.
And evidently there's,
I'm not afraid to say her damn name.
phony baloney rule
He's a YouTuber. His channel is Fleckus Talks. I've heard of Fleckus.
But we
Can we
can't
call her
venture
she who
inside
shall
the
not be
circle.
named?
Now,
Nah.
from the umbrellas, you can tell there's not a raindrop
You
in the
can.
air today. It's a nice sunny day in Toronto. So this is going to be to attempt to block our cameras so, we can't capture their crimes on video. It's a typical Antifa
I like it
101
because
tactic
he
in
tapes it to this hockey
massaging the
stick, and
narrative,
then like you can use
to
the
their
hockey
liking.
stick as a weapon,
Also, as
eh?
you can
If
see,
he
as I
gets
alluded to
attacked,
earlier,
because they're in
we've
Canada
got
and
a
they
couple
can't
of
have
porta
weapons.
potties established by the city.
So blunt force trauma it is.
Well, bam!
Coming
Hockey
in and
stick
John
to the
Tory
forehead.
saying you cannot be here. It is illegal. They are making these
Does he remind you of
squatters
Better Call
have a
Saul just a little bit?
comfortable place to be.
You know,
It should also
the
be noted that
department, the
illegal
Secretary of
occupation,
Defense on Space
there
Force,
is
his character very
0.0
much reminds me of
police presence.
Better Call Saul.
Yeah, I know, but this
And
guy right
then
here,
we
Rebel.
have one solitary
Rebel
security
News
guard
there,
there.
Rebel News
Notably,
guy.
he is behind a
He's like the
steel
love child
wall.
of
of
Paul.
sorts.
Whoa.
Steel fencing.
Edward,
Very funny that, isn't it?
thank you for the link.
This is typically against building walls so that a country can maintain its sovereignty in terms of illegal aliens coming to the country. But
All right,
when
guys.
they are
Graphic warning.
Oh no.
Graphic warning.
Oh no.
43 seconds.
What? Landon, Tiff, Fry Buddies. What? Carl!
Carl. Boom. Brofist, brother. Brofist.
Beanbags.
Yes, that's right. That's right, Spyrus. You're absolutely right. That's right.
Casey Jones fought with hockey sticks.
I watched him a lot in 2016. He uses a wooden spoon and puts like a lapel mic and like tapes it to the wooden spoon, and that's where this guy got that. He's copying Fleckus.
But in a Canadian way. I love it.
In a Canadian way.
I love Canada.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I love all the Canadian
You
viewers.
sound like a goofy moose.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to be because that's all I can emulate when I want to be Canadian.
You know that they're humans still, right? They just have
No,
an
of
A
course
at
I
the
do.
end
Of
thing.
course, I have friends who are Canadian in Inwood and Edmonton and.
Great people, not great tippers, but it's okay. We love them anyway.
All right, here we go. All right, violence may be on the screen. You might see something gruesome or graphic.
I don't have any
Please,
audio. Oh, because you're not playing anything.
if you don't want to see, look away. Eva, good morning, good evening, well, whichever one. Pray everyone has a blessed day. That's right. Brofist. Kapow. All right. Bean facts. 1, the natural habitat of a beans is Wyoming. Wyoming does not exist. LOL. I can't even follow that right now. Francis is just laughing. Okay, here we go. All right, graphic warning.
Did they get hit?
He sure did shoot at him though.
I didn't
See the
even
gun?
Who did it? Oh, okay, yeah.
There's a gun right there. See that?
Yeah. Is he okay?
Let's try to check and see if we can see a hole.
You don't say sorry enough to be Canadian.
I did when I
that
first
might
started the
be
show.
Also, where it came from. Look, I in true life, I am the one that is always saying sorry. Like, people at work are like, "You've got to stop." Landon, even he's like, "Stop telling me sorry." And online, I'm like, "I will not apologize." And Landon's like, "Well, sorry." But Northern ways, we're
You
very.
don't say sorry enough to. I did when I first started the show. I was sorry, everybody. Sorry.
He's been here. See, he said since the sarcasm. That's sarcasm. That means the opposite.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
I'm gonna look it up to see if there's anything out about this.
So what? He fired twice,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he knew what he was doing.
and this happened in Provo, Utah. Okay, well they better watch out. Now they're really trying to get the right to do something. See, I sent you Bean Fact video.
Fired twice. Driver in hospital with one gunshot. Thank you, Spyrus. Thank you for the info.
So he got it. He got hit.
Yeah, but at that far away, one shot out of firing twice is not that great. I'm just gonna say.
Well, the lefties aren't like extremely
Right, and that was the
proficient.
thing is- did you see that guy as they were driving away? Did he have one too that was pointing?
Yeah, it looked like it.
So, for those of you that don't know, Utah is where. So, Utah is primarily Mormon-based, which Mormons used to have a bad rap for being violent, but they're pretty cool. I love Mormons.
We just got a live link into.
But anyway, they're very wholesome. It's a very wholesome state, and so I am surprised to see that. If I'm going to be honest.
Well, do you think the shooter is actually from there, or do you think
Oh, yeah.
perhaps he's radicalized, or been radicalized?
Yeah, but even like Mormons
By the
aren't
left?
really radical anymore. Like radical Mormons.
I'm
have,
not
like,
saying that he
lots
was
of
Mormon.
wives.
I'm saying.
That's like as bad as it gets.
Do you not think that,
The memorial that they put up for the family to have a place to come and commemorate the young man that was killed here within the last.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and say that
24
was like 9. That was a 9
So, like,
millimeter.
one scene in a few of the
It was a
live stream
Kimber.
broadcasts
It was
we had,
little.
Oh my gosh, it didn't look little
there
to
was a
me. It looked
vehicle
like a Glock
that was
19,
involved in the.
I guess it's perspective.
or roughly a Glock 19 sized
They
handgun.
did. So, also, I don't really adhere to that policy
Almost
too much.
80s. I'm
because
sorry, and
this should all be
apologies.
seen. So.
And 9, bear with me.
And what you have here is the young man whose name was Pocket.
Oh, yeah, that's
Street
right.
name, they said
That's
is,
awesome, Ashley.
Pocket's world. Is what it is. And one of the things that they made clear was he was.
One night I counted how many times I
just about
said sorry.
17 years old.
Yeah,
and,
sorry.
He was the young man who died. There's another young man in the car. The
Something
confusion
happened,
comes in as to what exactly happened.
Filthy, thank you.
Brought about the shooting for the car. We heard that there was shots coming out of the car towards
Used
the
to
crowd.
drive
We
me
also heard
nuts.
that there was
Very
an
considerate. Oh,
attempt
thank
to
y'all.
run the barricades
Look at this
in
little
that same
puppy.
vehicle.
Oh, the little bitty puppy.
It's in Chaz.
Oh, the
We
little,
don't
it's a
know, nobody,
free
I think, really
puppy.
knows all the details
Oh, the
in
puppy's
its entirety because that's a pretty tight-lipped situation. Plus, it's part of an ongoing homicide investigation, so it's tough to really kind of get down to brass tacks on that. But it's sad to see nonetheless.
Oh my goodness.
It's terrible to see, any young individual's life. Lorenzo, the gentleman the young man who was killed in the shooting down on 10th and Pine in the park he was just 19 years old. So these are young people before they've even had a chance to really live a life that are, getting cut down early. And
Thank
to
you for
say
the
that
update,
it
Filthy.
was somebody
We're in.
here, somebody out there. It doesn't really matter. What you're seeing is violence on a level that's it's tragic, and it affects everybody, not just the young folks, but this entire neighborhood. But
Violence
what you have seen is that it's been within the black community. You've seen
Oh yeah, eh?
Oh man, North Dakota's getting some severe weather. Really, the only
sounds
place
pretty much
in the
normal,
United
eh?
States right now. No, it's not always severe up there. Eh? It's a lot of blue skies and such. Big, big, beautiful sunsets.
How are you doing though? I'm all right.
We don't really get to appreciate big, beautiful sunsets as much here because the trees block the view, and you don't really have that problem in North Dakota, eh?
No trees.
Oh yeah, they're just there for the wind and intentionally planned.
Not clear on what happened in Birmingham, Alabama. We have a live feed into Birmingham at the top left, but supposedly there was a shooting, or allegedly there was a shooting.
Okay, this person who is rustling is tearing up my eardrum.
Oh, I can fix that. I can fix that super
Yeah,
easy.
that was them. Thank you.
Homeless?
Sound very echoey. Thank you.
So how do we know? How do we know that? With concrete reporting. Yep.
It's just the mic.
Is it because it's a nano?
Okay.
Yeah, and they were friends with them. And they
Yeah.
I'm a photo
Yeah, I really don't know. Is it me or is it you?
Oh, yeah, it's just me.
Yeah, it is that mic. Very unhappy with it.
15.
But it's okay. Nothing we can do about it. Hold on.
Pocket was 15, and Rob was the younger one. They were brothers. They were homeless. Had been homeless for 6 years. They've been living on the
I
streets.
don't know. I'm hoping that'll change something.
What brought about the shooting?
The story.
You want to test it now?
Getting from the
Hello.
protesters and
This is Tiffany testing my microphone
this is a
again.
story from the friends of the boys.
You need to eat the mic.
We were actually asked to come down.
It's
and
still a
give
little bit
evidence.
echoey.
Thank you.
The stories are very different. That's something I'm trying to sort out. But two very.
What's up, Michael?
If I get right up on it, it's not so bad.
Of the,
But it's really
friends
close.
Of the boys was that.
I'm very
there was
sorry.
people chasing the boys. They actually
What I can do
slowed
is set the
a
other
jeep
one up.
To escape from them.
Set the other one
And,
up.
The man who was here last night.
I don't want you to have to do all that. It's okay. Maybe I set some.
It isn't all that.
With the
Let's see.
the boy who's driving, I'm giving
Yep,
him
there
directions,
it is.
and he forgot that this was.
Maybe I have it up too
here.
high on that mount. Maybe.
So they drove up, and he was trying to get him to go to IHOP.
Yeah,
That's what he
right. I
said.
know.
Yeah, so-
Where
and I
things
know-
are on a mic
I know they
eventually
really
does
tried
start to
find
come into
the
play.
field.
All right, let's
and
turn
they came up
this
here
guy on,
here.
and
So
let's.
he said that they did not have guns on them. That they didn't.
You see, the front of the vehicle is very much smashed up, and from what we've seen, that was from
It's
hitting
not as
barricades.
bad if I speak right into it. I think maybe we should just leave well enough
All
alone.
I'm doing is repeating what the man here said. You
Okay,
know, out of respect
we can.
from his. That was his story.
I'm
It's very
still going
different from
to, because
everything
I
else
just
I'm
I
hearing
know
from
that this
other
one
people.
isn't gonna cause an echo.
But you know,
Worst case
I'm concerned
scenario on
that
this switch
the
is like
different
my
sides
microphone
blame
will
each
start
other,
echoing.
and there's
What can we use that
revenge
for?
that follows from
I'm not
the
sure yet.
differing narratives.
Eva says sound
So,
good.
You know, I hope some peaceful
decoration?
resolution can come from this. But personally, I just find this so upsetting because
Maybe giveaway?
As you know, part of this movement, like I think it's
Give it
fair
back
to
to
say
the
we're all
wonderful
here
people?
because of what happened initially to George Floyd, and what's, you know, as you were saying earlier, that this is a terrible problem, the violence against black people, and here we have two young black men dead, and I just have to really question, like, are the protesters, which I am part of,
So you see,
are
where the phone
they?
is? That's where you want your voice to go.
Did they just replace? Did the
Um,
security team here replace the
now-
police? Did they do to these men what what we're accusing the police of doing.
You talk so
And that's a
sweetly, too.
I don't know,
Well,
but
you're my
that's
sweetie.
that's a
You
question,
must talk so
and I
sweetly
would
to your
really
sweeties.
hope that this community of protesters really soul searches and asks that question.
We pose the same question, and we've been here every day, and have seen a lot of things that I don't
They
agree
can't
with.
hear you right now.
Especially with a few incidents of excessive force by the security.
No.
That I feel was completely unnecessary.
Not even
And,
plugged in right now.
Tens of thousands of viewers feel the same way, but at the end of the day, this group is not one of a very structured organization, and so it's really hard to have any kind of like linear cohesion as to how to handle any incident. And I think that's where a lot of the problems come in. Is that
Oh, I don't know, Neil. Just bear with me. I'm doing stuff.
there's an energy here, and when people tap into that, and then they start feeling like they're a part of it in their own method of
didn't want to say that. I didn't mean that at
executing
all.
security or whatever it might be, or protest.
I
They
was
might
like,
do things
okay.
that don't exactly
But
jive well.
that was
with
too close to.
maybe a lot of the other people.
I was
that
like,
are
no,
here
no,
as
no.
well.
I
So
didn't
it is
mean
tough. It's
that.
hard to manage that and mitigate some of the
Bear
things
with me,
that
everyone.
cast a bad light on the protest.
Well, and this is something too. Like I've seen when the fear becomes magnified, and rightfully so. There's a lot of people who, whether it's white supremacists